Okay, I'm going to call Bucyrus City Council Finance to order at 5:07 p.m. Members present currently is Kevin Myers, James, me, and myself, Chair. Bruce is on his way. He'll be here as soon as he can. Number one, the Special Finance and Health and Safety Committee meetings were called by Mayor Jeff Reeser for the limited purpose of discussing ARPA funds, referrals, and open projects. Number two, public participation. Bruce is here. And I want to put on record, Bruce Truca is here at 5:08. Go ahead, Vicki.
Vicki DeShawn, 1108 Hillcrest Drive. I just want to point out a concern that I have with the meeting that we're about to have. A little background. First off, the first announcement that was sent to the media and put on Documents on Demand stated that the Bucyrus City Council Finance Committee will meet in special session on Wednesday, September the 8th, 2021 at 5 p.m. in Council Chambers, 500 South Sandusky Avenue, Bucyrus. The meeting has been called by Finance Committee Chair Mark McKeever for the limited purpose of discussing the following: 2022 budget. And that was given again on Tuesday, September the 7th at 1:54 p.m. Then we come along and another announcement is given, amending the first announcement. And this announcement states the Bucyrus City Council Finance and Health and Safety Committees will meet in special session on Wednesday, September the 8th, 2021 at 5:00 p.m. in Council Chambers, 500 South Sandusky Avenue, Bucyrus. The meeting has been called by Mayor Jeff Reeser for the limited purpose of discussing the following: ARPA funds, any open projects, any referrals. This notice was placed on Documents on Demand today at 11:43 a.m. Now, when you have a special meeting, public bodies must provide at least, this is per the Ohio Sunshine Laws, public bodies must provide at least 24 hours advance notice of special meetings to the media. When a public body holds a special meeting to discuss particular issues, the statement of the meeting's purpose must specifically indicate those issues, and the public body may only discuss those specified issues at that meeting. Now, the first notice that was sent out was fine as far as the 24 hours notice. But that notice has been amended, and now you're not only having it with the finance, but you're including the Health and Safety Committee, and you're changing what you're discussing. And that notice was not done within 24 hours. Am I missing something?
That notice was posted and sent out to the media at 1:39 p.m. yesterday, as well as all council members. The only thing I did on the Documents on Demand was put the updated one on there this morning. So it was sent out at 1:39 p.m. yesterday.
Okay, then that's going to bring up, if you would put these announcements on Documents on Demand, then there would have been no need for me to come up here and discuss. Because the fact that you are not updating, and I've asked you this before, and your comments have been, I forgot. Well, forget once, okay. Forget twice, now this is going to be the third forget. I'm sorry, I can't accept that, because being transparent to the public, we want to know what's going on. And based on Documents on Demand, which is there for the public and for you to be placing minutes, audio recordings, announcements, which is not being done, And you've just verified that, because had that been done, there would have been no need for me to be up here.
The second updated announcement was posted on Documents on Demand with the meetings for today,
Okay, now, say that again?
with the meeting that said budget. When it was updated, it was sent out to the media and all council members. September 7th, 1:39 PM.
And it still said budget.
Not on this one.
Well, I'm telling you, I printed this off on Documents on Demand, Tuesday, 9/7/21. Oh, no, 3:59 PM. You sent that, I believe, in an email.
Yes.
And I printed it, and it says budget, 2022 budget.
It's right here. In my email. Sent out.
Now, let me say something about Documents on Demand. You know that if you put something on Documents on Demand and then you realize, oh, I made a mistake, and then you put a correction on, that correction overrides the original notice, and nobody knows what that notice was. All it says is, that notice is no longer available. Do you want me to show you the email?
No, that's fine. I'm looking at the email that I sent out.
At 3:59.
Yes, I did update the Documents on Demand this morning, but I also updated things on Facebook with the meeting information and the GoToMeeting links on our Facebook page.
You're telling me, yeah, right, at 11:43 a.m. on Documents on Demand, you put this third announcement. Well, I'm saying it's number 3, where it's now being called by the mayor, and you're including the Health and Safety Committee.
Yes, and it says the ARPA funds.
Correct.
Open projects, referrals, and then the public land section.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And I guess I'm questioning why, if you did this, Documents on Demand today, which you said at 11, well, the email that came to me was at 11:43 a.m., but yet you sent the notice out last night to the media. Why didn't you just update your Documents on Demand right then?
I had other things that I was doing at that time, getting ready for last night's meeting.
Well, Jenny, I think I would like to sit down with you, because we got some major problems here. I'm sorry. You're not keeping the public apprised of what is going on. I don't want to be here any more than you people want me to be here. I can sense that. But until somebody starts doing their job, you're going to see me, like it or not.
Can I just add something? All right, and I know this isn't the meeting, but, you know, and Vicki, you've been here a long time too, Dan Wireball, 1092 Martha Avenue. When I first started, all we had was the newspaper. And you wouldn't even see it in the newspaper, because the newspaper didn't come out before a meeting if you had a 24-hour meeting. I believe, of course, the law director's not here, but I believe that's all you need, okay? And Documents on Demand, it's nice, it's a tool, okay? It's a tool, okay? It's something that helps out, and I don't think much, and I'm not putting you down, Jenny, but she's yours, okay? And when she's getting on her, I would like you to stick up for her, okay? So that's all I got to say.
Well, then I'm going to rebut that. Along with Documents on Demand, which I'd like to know how much of our city taxpayer dollars we're paying for that program. I mean, that program, when I was here, and that was back when Kelly Patterson was serving as, you know, the clerk of council. I mean, oh, we got to have this program, we got to have this program. It'll let the public know what's going on. And it really was not until Kurt Fankhauser became council president that Documents on Demand started to be utilized better than what it was. But let's say we don't have Documents on Demand. If you will go to the city's website, it says,
That's not the media. says is the media. Media.
But what I'm saying is, there are other ways to alert us, public as well, through our city's website. Not the documents on demand, through the city's website, under council, where you can put announcements. There was no announcements. Under the calendar.
Doing that, but I don't think she did anything wrong. And that's why, that's why I said, Jenny, you should stick up for it and say, you're not doing anything that's illegal. Okay, we didn't get it on documents on demand, but it's not the end of the world.
And in that instance, if I could, in Rebecca's defense, she doesn't have the ability to update the website. That would have to go to somebody else to do. Not being argumentative about it, but she doesn't have the ability to make updates to the website.
Like the council's calendar, you can't do that?
The calendar, yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Was there announcements put on the calendar for tonight about? When I checked the calendar, the only announcement I saw was the meeting that's supposed to start at 6.
The public meeting,
Yeah.
I think you're right on that. I did update the city council Facebook page today, and it is on, the next few meetings are on the city council's Facebook page for the public to see. The rest of the meetings that are scheduled for the year as of right now.
So I think we need to look at, where are we going to post it? Just don't skip around. Well, one meeting we're going to post on Facebook. The next meeting we're going to post on Documents on Demand. There needs to be consistency. And my goodness, in the day of technology, it takes what? A click? And something can be done? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, if there's no other public participation, we're going to go right into finance. Referrals. Joyce, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I have quite a list here, as you can see. The first thing, we need to appropriate from unappropriated permanent improvement funds to capital outlay, the sum of $330,000. This is to add to where we've been appropriated to cover the work in the 3 parking lots that we have signed a contract for, and they will be starting soon. So we need to get this in place so we can write our for 3 or 4.
Joyce, is your mic on? Joyce, is your mic on? No.
I pushed a button once and,
There we go.
okay, nothing happened, sorry. Well, it's probably 4, because we're doing the city garage too, yeah, the other 3.
She's saying it's the 3 parking lots and then the city garage
Yeah.
parking area.
So that covers everything.
Yes, yes. It's expensive.
Okay.
Okay, then also we need to appropriate from unappropriated swimming pool funds, $2,500 to personal services. When we ran payroll with the additional hours that there were, we overshot what we thought we were going to spend. And we also have the August PERS payment to go in this month, so we need to cover those final expenses to close out for the year.
Labor, Joyce?
I'm sorry, what?
Was that labor or?
Labor, yes.
So wasn't we closed a few days there that we didn't have labor?
Well,
We're not paying out labor, so.
Well, we had Jeff, what was the exact schedule when they switched
Well,
over?
We got into the last 2-3 weeks of August, and then we were really running short on staff. But some of the hours that was getting charged in there that I missed was, we had some of our street garage people and park people going at the pool at 7 in the morning also to double check the chemicals along with the pool, because our pool personnel wasn't doing as good a job as what they should have been, so they were kind of backing them up. And as they did that over the course of the summer, there was more labor charged to the pool than just the lifeguards. So, and we still had workers' comp, I think, to pay, and so we were a little short.
Thought she was gonna say the city employees will be in the lifeguards or something.
get that far, but. Okay.
Okay. Then also in the local fiscal recovery 2021 fund, you should have a separate page there where we have to actually create, and I don't have that in front of me.
It's on the back of the one before it.
Saving money.
We need to create, yes, the police department, capital outlay, and the fire department and capital outlay. So that will be a separate piece of legislation for that. Once that passes, then we will appropriate $125,000 to the police department category and capital outlay. This is for new police cruisers. And then, and this may be subject to change, in the fire department capital outlay, $325,000 for new ambulance. And apparently there's some additional equipment that the fire chief will talk to you about. So if you revise these numbers when you go on with the meeting, just let me know, and if you approve it, and I'll change this for the legislation. Then in Access Television, this changed a little bit from my referral. We need to appropriate from unappropriated access funds $5,000 to personal services. We discovered an error, not quite sure how it happened, with PERS, and it wasn't being deducted and charged for some reason. Probably a miss of a little button in the software, and I discovered it the other day, and I said, why do we have money budgeted here and we haven't paid any out? Now we have to go back and we have to pay that, and the employee share, the city's going to have to cover, and then we will be reimbursed for it, so I need to cover that. That's why the $5,000 in personal services. Then in capital outlay, $30,000, which is for the equipment to get us back on TV, which would be wonderful. And we talked about this before, and then we kind of put it on hold, and we said, well, I know Kurt wanted to check into some things and whatever, and I know he and John worked on various things, and we're just going to have to get some new equipment to make this work. Then in the derelict building liability fund, we've had 2 fires recently, one on Wingert Street and one on Plymouth Street. We have received the fire deposits for both of those, so we need to appropriate those funds so that when the properties are safe, we can refund it to the property owners.
Anybody have any questions for Joyce?
So somebody got, under their Access Television, the $5,000, somebody got shorted out of their check. $5,000 is,
OPERS got shorted,
Who?
and, well, it would
Retirement
be,
system.
Ohio Public Employees
Okay.
Retirement.
yeah, Ohio Public Employees Retirement, correct. For some reason, that button didn't get pushed, so we weren't deducting the employee share, and we weren't paying the employer share for 10 months.
So you got to take it from both directions.
Yes, yes. So it's not costing the city any more than what we would have paid, but we're playing catch-up, and unfortunately, it puts the employee in a little bit of a bind to cover that too, so. But this will get it straightened out, and we'll all be set before the end of the year.
Bruce, you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Kevin?
No, sir.
Okay, so we need to, I'm asking for legislation for the creation of categories.
I want to hear what's going on with the police and
Well,
the fire.
we just need to create that. I'm not asking for the appropriations yet.
Oh, okay, I thought you was asking for.
I'm just asking for the creation of, we got to have a separate legislation for this. Creation of categories and object lines for 271 local fiscal recovery.
I'll move to create that Fund 271 as emergency.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, if there's no other questions or discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay. The floor is now yours.
Just one second. The capital outlay on the police department and the capital outlay on the fire department, that's separated now. So cars will come out of one, fire department will come out of the other.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, same fund, but different departments, and they each have their own expense
Category.
line for what they're going to purchase.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got, you probably heard that, we've got some very good news from the federal government. In addition to the CARES funds that we received in 2020, the ARPA funds have been, the first tranche has been released. City of Bucyrus was scheduled to receive about $2.3 million. Due to some issues with the state government, our legislature decided to dispense half of our funds from what's called non-entitlement units, which are cities under $50,000, to townships. So the bad news is we lost half of that. The good news is we got half of it with, we have some good opportunities that we can use for those to shore up a couple areas that we needed shoring up and save some taxpayers some money. We lost 1.2 million. All non-entitlement units, which is cities under 50,000, lost about half. That money was dispensed to townships and who weren't included in the first drawing. So all the townships in Crawford County had the ability to get some money. It's all based on population. So we'll have about $1.2 million altogether over 2 years. And so tonight we have police chief and fire chief here to talk about some of the issues that they have, and hopefully that we can use some of that money for those. So Chief Neal, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, there you are.
All right. I've been in contact with PAR Public Safety here in the south end of town. They're the ones that outfitted our last police interceptor utility vehicle that we bought. I got a quote for a current 2022, it's basically a Ford Explorer, but they call it the Pursuit utility vehicle there, which is the fancy term for the police cars. Each one of those is $50,450, and that includes everything except the radar unit and the in-car camera. So that's like the outfitting with everything that we had done on our last car that we bought from them, from the light bar to the inserts, everything like that. So that's the total cost that it would be from PAR. It sounds like they're going to start running that line again in October, so we should actually, if we get an order in, we should be able to actually get some of these things relatively quick. I've been in contact with the mayor, service director, Joyce, a little bit, and what I was coming up here to ask the finance committee to do was appropriate for 3 vehicles immediately this year, to where I could get a purchase order into PAR for I didn't do the total math on that, but it'd be $50,450 times 3. It's a little over $150,000. That would be get them on order this year, and then again appropriate the same amount for the 2022 budget for 3 more cars, and that would replace half of our aging fleet that's not under warranty anymore. And we'd be, I think, sitting pretty good for the next 2 years. I don't know if they do or not.
6 cars.
Correct. Over 2 years. 3 this year, 3 next.
So when you buy cars like that, they're going to wear out at about the same time. So what's life expectancy of these cars?
Correct. The way we've been doing it here is assigning 2 officers to each car, so the vehicles are not getting driven 24 hours a day across all 3 shifts anymore. And what we found is that we've been able to keep the mileage down on them, and they've been lasting very well through the 5-year extended warranties that we've been buying on them. For example, we have a couple of the 2015s here that are still less than 100,000 miles on them, but they're still 7-year-old cars, and they're 6-year-old cars, and they're still getting the maintenance issues that we have. And I think that if we could just get a replacement cycle going on these things, we could get cars back under the 5-year warranty and really cut our maintenance costs down.
I agree with you. Joyce ain't here. Don't we have a line, we don't have a line item to start putting money back into that to replace these cars in the future, Mayor?
No, we don't. And the reason we don't is because when the 0.5% Safety Forces income tax funds came in 2014, 2015, we used that opportunity to upgrade our fleet then. Unfortunately, since 2016, our revenue up until this year has been flat. And we have not had excess funds to replace cars. Just hasn't been there. Just our budget has just been there for, salaries and.
So 2015 is the oldest car you got?
Well, we have a 2010 Ford Explorer there. It's the white one that you still see driving around. That one's lasted so long, so it was a canine vehicle, was only driven by one officer for a majority of its career. And then after it was retired from the canine sector, it became a school resource officer vehicle, so it was driven only by one person minimally, is the reason why that car has been able to stay around for as long as it has. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our 11 cars were purchased in either 2014 or 2015.
You have
And since, and of the other 3, there's one that was purchased in 2010, and then the other one was 2017, and one was 2019. So really, since we got the initial passing of the Safety Forces levy, we've only added 2 cars to our fleet. And like I said,
Besides the initial ones in 2015.
correct. And then, some of you guys have been around long enough to remember the white Crown Vics we had that were falling apart, and I can remember Roger Moore helping me push my old K9 car out of the parking lot because the transmission went out during the Bratwurst Festival one year, and I had to drive it somehow down to the garage to try to get it looked at. And if it hadn't been for Roger and Joe Greathouse, I never would have got it out of the parking lot.
I
And I
remember
really-
we were excited to get the black and white car. Found a decent used car just to scrape by on.
Right, I believe that was paid for from drug seizure money. So, I really don't want to have our fleet go back to just a revolving fleet of garbage. And I don't think that we're terribly far from that if we don't start working on upgrading some of these vehicles now.
So are these new vehicles, are they like SUVs or?
Correct. I asked for a quote for like an F-150 as well, which what I got back was that they're about the same price, they're pursuit rated. I think you've probably seen the sheriff's office driving one around.
Yeah.
Would be nice to have a couple of those with, to have the storage in the back. When I
That's
spoke
what,
to,
the city of Tiffin actually had to do when they went to replace all of theirs. They went all to those because they weren't able to get the Interceptors at that time.
correct, and I said, when I just talked to the guy at PAR, it sounded like October they was opening the Interceptor line, the utility line back up. And he did say the F-150s are roughly the same price to outfit as what the utilities are. I really don't care what we get. That doesn't make a difference to me as long as we start getting some stuff cycled out. It would be nice to have one F-150 and 1 or 2 utilities.
Just tell them why you want the F-150 though, for hauling stuff.
Correct, for hauling stuff. we can remember we had to haul a giant table one time from KFC that had evidence from a robbery. I think we ended up using one of the guys' pickup truck to do that.
It gives you a little more ground clearance for snow too.
Correct. Yeah, I would say these Explorers that we have now go through the snow pretty good with the all-wheel drive.
They've been good cars.
Yeah, they seem to, for the most part, holding up, and as long as we can keep it to where there's only 2 guys driving them, I think it's going to keep the mileage down on them.
Are the sedans still available or not?
The sedans are not available anymore. I think everything is going to the utilities.
And there
Then
will
the-
be some value on those on gov deals too.
Correct. We should be able to get something for them.
So I know you're not gonna get a lot for those, but
Yeah.
when you do, is that gonna come back
Yeah, it goes
into
back in,
this,
it goes,
the police
that's a
department?
question for Joyce, whether it goes
Well,
back in.
it would have to get appropriated back into that line by you guys.
So it would go into the general fund
Fund,
and we
and
would
then she could
appropriate it back in?
Right. What I could say is the $125,000 that she proposed would get us 2.5 cars at, at the price that I've been quoted here. And that would be for just 1 year. I'm sorry?
You need 151,200 at the 50,400.
Okay. Right, that would be to get 3. And then if we was, I mean, like I said, I was kind of hoping that we could do 3, immediately get purchase order for 2021, so we could get them coming off of this year's money and then budget for more next year.
What's the total number we're getting for this from the federal?
We have right now about $600,000.
Okay, so we have the money to do
We have the
three.
money right now to pay for these, yeah.
I'm in favor of that.
Bruce, you got any questions?
I like the trucks, though.
I will, when I call down to PAR, I mean, if you guys give me the green light, I'll let them know we want a couple trucks. I say 1 truck this year, 1 truck next, but I'd just be happy to get the utilities.
It's a 4-door.
It's a 4-door truck, yeah, I mean, it's the, yeah.
I had that four-door F-150. I had more room in the back of it than any other car I've ever owned.
Just chain them to the bed, they'll be fine.
Okay.
Is that a separate?
So-
Proposal.
Do we need to go above that for any contingencies or like
No, it's
160?
2 separate lines. Well,
Should we put a 10% on that? Do you believe, Jeff, do you believe we should put a 10% contingency on that?
I don't think so. These are state purchase pricing with the equipment.
They come around and they want to raise the water rates, does that money need to go on that project? That's all I worry about.
Well, water's a whole nother fund.
Well, the guy that was standing here for $380,000 last night, is that money coming out of there too?
No, we haven't. That's something we'll have to come back and talk at another meeting. Because
we don't
those
have-
projects haven't even been out to bid, or they got the rough total cost, but we don't know what that would come out of the water fund. Now, the next batch, round of next year's money, you could look at that if you wanted to.
Yeah,
To
'cause
help
I don't
pay
want to
for
see
that.
people having to, not that I don't think we need police cars or an ambulance, but I just see him saying there's 600,000 left, and I see these 2 entities taking 600,000, and I want to know where the rest of the money's coming from.
Well, we
That's
haven't even talked about that yet, and we haven't presented anything to you guys. That was kind of just going to be open discussion, and to see where.
Or is that why this meeting was an emergency prior to meeting with those people about the EPA? That's what I'm wondering.
I'm
Like, if you
sorry.
get, no, what I'm saying is,
No, I didn't understand your question.
yeah, if you've got them all convinced to spend the money on this, and then these people come in the next meeting and they want a bunch of money, is it gonna be, are we gonna raise the people who live here, their water bills? Because there is no money left in here to put toward the infrastructure.
That's a
Total
whole different
different
fund. That's stormwater and sewer.
But she's talking about the money that we got, the 1.2 we're gonna get over 2 years.
Yes, that
Lisa,
is
if
what I'm
wrong.
talking about.
But what we're saying is, this is what we'd like to use this part for this year, to get these in order, because if we don't, we're probably a year out from getting these vehicles, because they're having a hard time getting them. So I think as we look at these other projects to do the water line expansion, that money could come directly out of the water fund, and that other 600,000 could be talked about how we could help improve for the next meeting. And the commissioners, we had a meeting with them trying to work together, because that is in the county. And how their drainage works goes through the county, part of it. So that's what the next meeting's gonna be about, and
To satisfy, because I'm concerned with making sure that the EPA side of it's satisfied
yeah,
without causing citizens' water bills to go through the roof.
you mean the overall utility bill?
Yeah,
What she's concerned with is we're spending too much money up front,
yeah.
and we're not gonna have enough on the back end for another project that's coming down.
But I'll counter that though, Jim, with if we went the other traditional way for this, we're gonna finance all these cars and be spending another $60,000 on finance charges
I
on top of
agree.
it.
I mean, I didn't, your vehicles look nice, and they don't look like they're 2014, 2015.
No, they don't.
They don't.
No, they don't. I drive a 10-year-old car, so I get it. And I'm not saying that they don't need replaced, and with the shortage in chips, I realize that it's hard to get a hold of it. I just know that there was someone standing here who wanted $380,000, and I know that there's EPA, whatever, magician people coming in to talk about fixing the infrastructure, and I just want to make sure that there's enough money left to cover that, so that we don't have to go to the citizens and say, hey, we're going to have to raise your water rates.
We're gonna be getting $1.2 million altogether. You know, we spent in the last 5 years fairly close to $10 million with our complying with the EPA consent order. So what's gonna be left out of here, you know, we need to make sure we plug it in. It's not gonna satisfy the EPA 600,000 or 800,000, whatever we have left. But there's some other things that we're looking at. The ARPA money can be used for everything that the CARES money could be used for, plus more. And we will make sure that the taxpayers benefit by it. Because what we're gonna do.
I feel like the taxpayers didn't benefit the first round, and I'm real concerned about the second round.
Well, they got an ambulance on the first round.
They did.
We spent everything we could legally on that. I don't know, you know, you guys went over all that, you know what all that stuff was spent on, so.
No, a lot of things I didn't know. I didn't.
It's like we're satisfying the EPA, and we have all this money going out to the EPA, and that was just to satisfy the EPA. It doesn't benefit, you can't, like the lady said at the meeting, you can't promise anybody's basement's not gonna get flooded, because we know we have a pipe coming down Mansfield Street that's too small to carry everything, since we've added a lot of infrastructure down that
Okay.
way.
We'll stick around for the next meeting at 6, we'll talk about that stuff.
Okay.
So we might have to wait on this stuff.
Why?
Do we know? 1.2 million, right?
Over 2 years.
Okay. Do we have that planned out where all that's going?
That's what
Yes.
we're trying to do right
Well,
now.
I know, but we need to look at a big page, not at $400,000 here, is what I want. I want the mayor to come to me and say, hey, I got 1.2 million, this is how I want to spend it.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, I'll tell you, this is how I want to spend this,
Yeah, I know.
and this is how I want to spend that.
That's
And
fine.
the rest of it,
Before this
since you
meeting.
asked, I'm under the thought that it should be used for what's called revenue replacement, and that would go back into the general fund and would be for the benefit of all the taxpayers. And we're allowed to spend it over the year 2024, so we'll have 3 more years to spend that. And that, in prudence, right now we can put about, I think my figures are correctly, about $400,000 of that 1.2 million right into the general fund as revenue replacement. And that goes back in, anybody, it could be used for the general fund, whether it's safety forces or the parks or whatever's needed. And then I think it'd be prudent to hold, you know, the rest of it back if possible, to see how revenues shake out in 22, 23, and 24. Because we don't know, even though we're having a good revenue year this year, we don't know where this is taking us next year, 22, 23, and 24. The year 2024, when it comes in, we will have a good idea of where that revenue is shaking out. At that time, the council can make a decision what funds are left there. Do they want to put it into parks, or do they want to put it into sewers, or water lines, or whatever, or they need another police car or something else, and to make that decision. So, yeah, we've been working on that, but we wanted just to present the things that we want to get in here immediately, get going on because of issues of getting in the production line on these types of things. So I know with cars, there's a chip shortage. Even our chief says they could be running that in October, I think is what he said. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed up because there's a chip shortage in vehicles. Chief Schwunley is going to present a plan on getting a second ambulance that we need. That was primarily what we spent half of the money for in the CARES money. So people would be certainly benefit by that, right? but we need a second one, because that replaces the 2010, since now we're gonna be doing EMS. It would behoove us to have two good ambulances that you can depend on. And so he's gonna talk a little bit about that, so that's necessary, it's gonna take a while to get that in the pipeline, to get that thing delivered. So that's why we're coming to you tonight, just for the things that we wanna get going here, and then I'd be happy to present, and Joyce and I and Jeff have been kind of working on this, the concept and where to spend $1.2 million and our plans, and then discuss it with you. We'd be happy to do that at the next committee meeting. Not tomorrow, but.
Okay. Bruce got a question.
Part of this money that we're going to receive,
Yeah.
is there any way we can set it aside to be able to spend $380,000 of it that was proposed? I know that, like you said, Jeff, it wasn't actually put out to bid yet, but at least it gives us a ballpark idea that maybe we might need $380,000 for this water line expansion. So you're saying that if we turn around and buy an ambulance and 3 cruisers, we're still going to have $380,000 left in the next 2 years?
Yes, because the next round of money will come in, I don't know, next April or May.
And that $380,000 is going to benefit the public. Most
We
definitely.
can earmark that however you guys want it earmarked, if you wanted to go towards.
I just don't want to see us
improvements.
spend $380,000 and then we don't have it.
Yeah, it's some of the funds, we have to look at the funding in those lines too, and then present that plan to you. That's certainly a possibility. And see what.
So we're not allowed to spend that money on water lines?
No, you certainly
No,
can.
you can,
Water and sewer are two of the
Yep.
things that you can be, certainly can.
infrastructure.
Yeah. So you're gonna have so much there, so we just need to choose wisely.
So is
Whatever
it something that we could do now as a city council, is to go ahead and stipulate that we want to put $380,000 aside now, that way we know for a fact that we have it?
Well, what if you have the funds now already, and then you're just taking money away from the general fund? So either way, Bruce, the citizens of Bucyrus it's gonna benefit them. Whether they benefit in the general fund, or whether they benefit that in the enterprise funds. So they're gonna benefit either way.
Well, I realize that, I'm just saying that, I just want to be able to earmark it that, we don't turn around and spend it somewhere else.
We can't spend it until, you guys appropriate it.
That's what I was
I
wanting to ask
did not
Joyce.
appropriate everything that is on this 2-page list of the first CARES Act money. I did not. I never voted on a walk-behind floor scrubber. I never voted on a needle point bipolar ionization system. Yes, an ambulance, yes, the doors. There were certain pieces of legislation. So how all this other stuff got in there, nut and shell game, however it works, I want to make sure that they don't come back to the people and ask for that $380,000 and raising people's rates. I can't be the only one who feels like they didn't vote for everything on that list.
If it's under 50,000, doesn't matter.
Right.
That's there.
That's, if it's under 50,000, you can do it 10 times and spend 500,000 and council never has to know about it. And that is upsetting to me.
Well, the CARES money was different. It had to be spent by a certain time. You only had certain things to do on it. And if you didn't spend it by those times, you were losing. You would lose money. You didn't have the.
So we
ability
have
to
plenty
spend
of time to spend this amount of
it. Right,
money.
you do. And that's why we're
Right.
coming to you now, and we'll come back with your plan, and you can talk about the options, how you want to spend on it, how you want to spend and vote on it, so.
But I think the answer to Bruce's question is, yeah, we could somehow earmark that, I would think, but Joyce isn't here, and, that would be next year. I mean, that would be part of next year's budget.
I
if you
thought
wanted
it
to
was
earmark
this
it.
fall yet.
Yeah, he said he was starting. Didn't
Well,
that
they're-
guy?
Some of those projects are a year or 2 years off.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, I think what the commissioners wanted was just, are we behind the project? They didn't want any money yet.
Okay,
Like
Yeah.
a letter of intent.
all right. Okay, that's fine,
Yeah,
I'm excited about hurrying up doing water. I think it's
Yeah.
the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to us.
I think they have Parcher Road ready to go to get EPA permission, but the other ones, all they have is a ballpark. cost. So they still have to survey them, go draw them up, and present them to the county commissioners for them to go out to bid, and it'll be one at a time. So when we get that plan from them, then, we can try to earmark it and put it in the budget for next year with the other batch of money that's coming in, if that's what you'd like.
Yeah, that's what I like.
We can do that.
Yeah, so we'll come up, maybe have a longer discussion at, not this Thursday's committee meeting, but in 2 weeks. And we'll present it, and we'll talk about what the stipulations are, where the money can go, and you guys can make some decisions.
So at this present time, then, we're just gonna go ahead and buy 3 cruisers and an ambulance.
Well, if you vote on it,
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you're proposing.
Right, that's for right now.
Well, we're not buying 6 cruisers, we're only buying 3 at this point in time.
3 right now.
The way I understand it, we can buy 2 cruisers at this time.
I suppose so.
So they're asking for 3, which I'm not saying you don't need it. But I'm saying I want to protect ourselves, protect the citizens of Bucyrus down the road, saying, okay, you need 3, we'll get you 2.
Yeah, I mean, 2's better than 0, I'll tell you that.
I mean, I
You know,
support
so-
you, I want you to keep doing what you've been doing. But on the other hand, we have 12,000 people to make sure are taken care of. We don't know what's coming down the pipe. The mayor said that several times here, so.
Well, we know we have 1.2 million coming down.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's coming in the other direction.
I understand.
And hopefully it's not a freight train.
We'll see. We'll see. Can we turn it over to Chief?
Chad, go.
Please.
All right. Well, as you all know, in a little over a month and a half, we will be taking over EMS for the city of Bucyrus and the Crawford County West Joint Ambulance District, which consists of Likens, Holmes, Bucyrus, and Dallas Township. We've just sent out the first quarter bill to them, which will be a collection by November 1st of roughly $44,000. So with that being said, in a little over a month and a half, we've been waiting on this what's the initial? ARPA money to hit so that we can order a second frontline ambulance. Right now, like I said, we got the one last year, and that put us with the 2010 in reserve because since we were backup, we weren't running that much. Beginning November 1st, we will be frontline and need 2 frontline ambulances, so that we need, we're going to be starting out short because we need to have 2 frontline and a backup. So we've put it on hold so that we didn't have to finance finance this. So what I'm looking for is I need the authorization for the service director to enter into a contract to purchase a new ambulance. Ambulance and load system is $297,000. And then with equipping that with gear and hiring at least 3 more firefighters before the start date, the total equipment number I've got is $440,671. That extra equipment is a air purifying system, which is $2,400. That is actually part of the ambulance. There's turnout gear that we're ordering for new hires that we'd already hired, and needed 6 new sets for the 3 new hires. 6 sets is $20,500. And then, like I said, we had 5 sets already on order, which was for 17. being that these, and I guess to elaborate on why the ambulances cost a lot more than what your normal, why everybody will say, why don't you get the smaller van type like what Portsmouth is running? We operate as a fire department out of these vehicles also. We carry our turnout gear and SCBA's and some other small equipment. So that's why we run that larger vehicle. But with that being said, we also need to purchase a couple more SCBA's to have in those squads so that the responding crew has SCBA to put on once they arrive on scene. That way, there's we more or less you have one SCBA for every seated position. So the SCBA would have 16,500. Stair chair, which is 3,600. A new heart monitor, which 38,000. The radio and repeater system for the squad would be 7,000. Mark's radios for the 3 new hires is another 7,000. Pagers, 3 pagers for the new hires is 2,000. Autopulse, that is that's the mechanical CPR machine. That's 16,500. SCAD, 650. We need some more O2 bottles, which is 1,000. Another Stokes basket for 700. And the airbag set, which is part of the rescue equipment that we had not purchased yet to replace for the engine, was 11,000. And that, like I said, that gets you the grand total of $440,671.
How much was the total? You lost me in the numbers.
440671.
440.
But that includes the
Yes, that includes, yes,
That's everything.
yes.
Complete equipped vehicle.
Yeah, the vehicle itself was 297,000.
Correct. Yes, I got that, thank you.
Okay.
What's it? Well, and that's why we've been, was needing the authorization as soon as possible to purchase this because it everything keeps getting pushed down the line. It could be 6 to 8 months. They won't, until I've got that signed contract, they won't commit. It could get pushed out to a year. So I've got plans for a backup for us for initially, but it's, for us taking this on, it's not really their responsibility to provide us with that backup.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? So what we're looking at in this local fiscal recovery for the fire department is $325,000 is what is on the paper here in front of us. But what you're actually saying, the actual number is $440,671.
That would all come out of the ARPA money.
Okay.
The total for both is $591,871 for if we do 3 cruisers and the ambulance.
And there would still be additional monies available.
Yes.
So
Am I correct on that? It was over 600,000. Correct?
Yeah, it's still over 6. We have, that'll pretty much take the first tranche. Second one comes in about a year.
Right.
Sometime this summer, next summer.
So back to the police department, for them to get the 3rd cruiser, it's only an additional $26,000.
Correct.
So they're really, if we're, $26,000 in the grand scheme of 600,000 is a drop in the bucket. So a 3rd cruiser at this time would probably benefit in the long run, as well as being able to fully fund what the fire department needs, correct? And there's still a few dollars left over out of that 600,000.
Just over 8,000.
And that 8,000 can go towards,
Goes to general.
Whatever we want.
It can go to
later.
the general fund.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be decided tonight.
Am I right?
Well, no, it can, but it would be what you guys would want to
Right,
appropriate
it could go to the general fund for
Yeah.
wherever we want to
Yes.
appropriate to the correct.
No
whatever we
different
need
than
to
as
go
we
to.
talked about the
Well-
next round coming in next year.
right.
We can figure out where that's
If
going
I
to go.
could ask, that extra $8,000, could that not go towards flak jackets or revolvers or whatever, might be a smaller ticket item for the police department?
No, it would
No.
have to be something that would be CARES type related. Like, we could do the cars because they're safer than the old cars. That's the same with the ambulance. You can't use it for, my understanding on that, is you can't use it for just the day-to-day stuff because
Okay, but it goes into the general fund, which is the general fund,
what does it do?
Revenue.
and there's
Well,
no,
It doesn't go-
Revenue
It
replacement.
would go in the, but it has to get appropriated.
It has to get appropriated, yeah.
okay, but
You
then the
have to
general
get-
fund can spend
yeah.
it on
My
whatever,
understanding also, you have to get approval for it too,
from,
from the federal government or the state. State.
Okay.
So.
okay.
This is there's a little bit more, there's a little more hoops to jump through on this, so.
I follow, okay.
So you said you was getting a car for 25,000?
No.
The
she's
the
saying-
additional third car, what they're originally asking for is $125,000 for the cars.
Correct.
But he said that the cars are only $50,450 each. So he's basically, the 125 is gonna get you two and a half.
cars.
So another $26,000, you get that third car. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That fund's already in there. That money you're talking about for an extra 25,000 is already in there.
No, it's not.
No.
No. We just voted to create that fund. It never existed.
We just created the fund.
Why are we getting a car for 25,000?
You're not.
We're not. Okay. The 120, the
Okay, let's
100,
say that 50, that's 150,000
Yeah.
right.
But they only asked for
But they only asked,
125.
there's only 125
So
here.
basically, he's
Out
saying
of
I
the
need
CARES Act.
150.
Right. So take another 26 out of that CARES Act and we can get that third vehicle.
Okay, this is what you're gonna end up in the CARES Act. We've been here.
Yeah.
In the end, this is what you're gonna end up with.
So you're talking about the CARES Act is gone. You're talking about the ARPA funds, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah,
these
the
funds
idea,
are.
if you want them to be gone, because at the end of this, if you don't spend it, it goes.
Right,
back
they
to the
take it
state.
back.
Yeah, that's what the CARES money, if they didn't spend it. we-
Up until 2024. It'll be gone long before that.
Yep.
We've been through this before.
I was just saying,
I'm going to say that this is a lot better expense than what we saw the last time through. We know what it's going for,
Well,
and it's
it's
stuff we're
not
gonna.
even here yet, and he already has it spent, basically. What money's coming in, it's spent. And then we're gonna go into the next meeting and somebody's gonna tell us there's a whole lot of money needed for something, and I'm gonna go, okay.
All right.
So you don't think the ambulance or
I
the police
think they're
cars?
both, I think they're both warranted causes, I really do, and I voted yes on the ambulance we purchased last time. But we spent $838,000 last time, and I only remember voting on a couple little things because everything else just.
Was under $50,000.
Yes.
Then to your point, this is actually a better
Yes,
deal.
this is a better deal, but
Because
there
we're
are still
controlling its
things
destiny.
that are
Right.
coming up that I'm concerned about. And it concerns me when you want to raise people's water rates and people can barely afford to pay their bills now. So I'll sit back and watch.
Chief, what was your number, 151?
It's, they're $50,450.40 each.
151, 350?
Yeah.
And that's for their separate utility vehicles.
$151, $350, $120. He said 40 cents.
Right, 40 cents.
Got to add that all in there. So, we have two proposals here, two costs that we need to change on the 271 fund if you're wanting it, if you want the 3 cruisers, the 3 vehicles for the police, it would be $351.20. And for the fire department, for the ambulance with fully equipped with 3 people equipment, it's $440,671. So,
Just chill a minute. So we haven't even got that money yet, right?
No.
It's not even in here.
No.
It's here.
We have to, I'm not sure what you're asking. We have the first 600,000.
It's not been appropriated.
It's not been appropriated. We do have the money, though. We've been awarded that money by the state government, actually. We got it from the federal government.
But it's not in the treasurer's report?
We just got it. I'm not sure. What treasure?
It's
Well,
May.
there's no fund.
So you're looking at May, so we just got
Yeah.
it.
You have to get more.
It wasn't in last night's report.
We do have the money.
Okay, how much was the total amount?
$591,922.20 will be the total expense for the 3 cruisers, 3 vehicles for the police, and the ambulance fully equipped for 3 people.
How much is in the fund?
$600,000.
$8,000 more than that.
6,
I'm sorry, Joyce is not here. She could tell you exactly.
I know,
So,
that's,
I believe it's a little, like, maybe 610 or 620,000, somewhere like that. But the money will sit there until we actually take delivery of these. Do they require a deposit on that? They don't require a deposit. So that money could be there in 6 months, 8 months, or a year, or whenever this police vehicles come in, so.
So is there gonna be like a lease agreement then with this backup vehicle that we're gonna pay additional costs for?
No, this is planned on around a 7 to 10 year service life.
No, I meant the one that,
No, in case you need it.
the one that you're gonna have to.
Oh, no, it's-
You're gonna have
it's-
to run an ambulance while one's being made.
We've got another local township that is going to provide, more or less is providing that service.
I guess I'd go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and meet their wishes and buy 3 police cruisers and get their ambulance truck and everything fully equipped, so we're not standing there holding the bag.
I'll second that. Was that as an emergency?
Yes.
I'll second that.
is this all of them, or is this just the,
Yeah. The whole.
is this
The whole page.
271 or the whole page?
The whole page,
The whole-
including the numbers we just discussed.
Okay, is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
I vote in favor. So, motion passed. Proceed with the meeting. We have open projects. If you want to discuss anything, we can bring that up now. Otherwise, I'll proceed to public participation. Any public participation?
Did you do your motion for the other appropriations?
That's what he did. It was all together. the whole thing for the ambulance with those figures put in, and the police vehicles. If not, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. I adjourn at 6:12 PM.